So if you want to build a zero trust, it is every employee's duty, and you want to make the cyber culture, and to make zero trust is everything, every object, everyone's.
And I think this is a really important thing, is show, it doesn't matter how small the progress is show the progress, because then people understand.
Yes.
And they connect with it, and they say they appreciate it, and their support increases.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Cyber Talks YouTube channel. I'm Ethan. Today we are truly honored to join by Raghu Nandakumara.
Ethan, it's lovely to be here, thank you.
Yeah. He previously served as a senior vice president at Citibank, and now is a senior director at Illumio, a global leader in the zero trust segmentation. Raghu, it's a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to Taiwan.
Well, Ethan, everyone, it's a pleasure to be back here again. Thank you for having me, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
That's perfect. Thank you, Doctor. So let me start the interview. And I know many CXO and understand why of zero trust, but it's normally was struggle with the how. For your experience, and what are the key steps to implement segmentation efficiently?
Sure. I love this question. I get asked this question a lot when I go and interact with CSOs, CISOs, CXOs, and security practitioners globally. And this question comes up a lot because everyone understands zero trust in practice and the benefits of it. However, they struggle often to make progress. And the reason that they struggle is because they try and do too much too soon. So the best practice, and this is not just Illumio saying this, but really if you look at material from security leaders, right from John Kindervag, who is the godfather of zero trust, but really there is lots of great content out there on zero trust best practices. And it's very much about really being very focused on where you apply your zero trust principles. And it starts with identifying what exactly you want to protect and why. So the starting point for any step in zero trust, in maturing your zero trust adoption, is identifying what do I need to protect? Why do I need to protect it? What are the current gaps? So for example, if I put this in the context of Illumio and what we do in terms of zero trust segmentation, it's, let's say I have a critical application, and let's say that's got too much exposure to the rest of my network, right? So too many things can connect into it.
Yes.
Well, the risk there is that if the bad actor gets into my network, then it could easily exploit my critical application, right? It could steal data, it could take the application offline. So what do I need to do? Well, now that I've identified that that's the thing I need to protect, and that the gap is that it's got too much access, then I can go and focus on applying those zero trust principles about removing the unnecessary access and only allowing what is required. And once I've done that, I can then say, okay, I've done my first critical application. Now, what's my next priority? So it's about taking this very step-by-step approach. And that way, while I've got this big thing that I want to do, I'm making small steps and making progress, and I'm able to demonstrate that. That's how you simplify zero trust adoption.
Start from small things and make step by step to implement the zero trust.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's great. But I know most of the IT and the enterprise work don't know what is the critical assets they want me to protect. Some of the company will say they have some credential data they will note, but most of the company they don't. So if you want to suggest 3 different priority, what's the most priority you will suggest when they want to deploy the Zero Trust?
Sure. So I think I would take this from the perspective of capabilities, right? So firstly, the reason organizations also struggle with the adoption of Zero Trust is because in order to do this properly, it's not just about engaging the security team or the IT team. You really want to engage your business teams, your application teams, because what you're doing here is not just transformational from a IT perspective, but it's transformational from a business perspective, because ultimately, right, we are protecting the business. So we need to understand what the priorities are of the business. Because, for example, right, if I'm going and protecting, let's say, my Coca-Cola machine, right, that gives me cans of Coke, and it's not important to the business, then I'm wasting effort, right? So we have to bring everyone along. So I'd say the first thing with any Zero Trust program is engage all the right stakeholders. So security, infrastructure, IT, business applications, so that you can come together and agree on the priorities. So that's the first thing. The second essential component is visibility with context,
yes.
right? Because in order to make good decisions, you really need to understand what you have in your environment, how those things are interacting with each other, but also the additional business context associated with each of those workloads and each of those connections. Because that way, it allows, again, the network teams, the security teams, the application teams,
yes.
to have a consistent understanding so that they can then agree on the priorities. And then the third thing is then, back to that first question, is prioritize what you want to protect and the security policies you're going to apply to protect them. So to summarize, the three priorities. One, ensure that you have everyone engaged on the project, not just security, not just IT, application teams. Secondly, have that complete visibility with context, with understanding, so that everyone has a consistent view and consistent understanding of what is happening. And three, prioritize and focus on securing the most important things.
If any enterprise want to build out the Zero Trust architecture, like not just the IT responsibility, is related about all of the employees. So if we want to build a Zero Trust, it is every employee's duty, and we want to make the cyber culture, and to make Zero Trust is the every object, everyone's the responsibility and their duty. They need to protect. I think that's great stuff if we want to build it. Is also to match the first items. Yes.
Absolutely, and I'd say that there is a great book called Project Zero Trust by George Finney, and it's a very short book, very easy to understand, that explains exactly this, and it makes it like a story. So I'd really recommend anyone who wants to just understand Zero Trust in a simple way, go and download or order Project Zero Trust by George Finney, and it gives a fantastic overview of how to build a Zero Trust culture.
Okay, nice suggestion. I will look at it. Thank you.
No problem.
When you were at the Citibank, how do you help align the teams across the security, IT, application, operations?
Sure.
You know, there's a different department decisions. So toward the common goal, doing the Zero Trust and integrating like the Illumia.
So the way I approach this is really about understanding what is important to each of these different groups. Because if I just make a focus about security, right? The application team may not care. The network team may not care. The security team cares.
And that's his benefit.
Exactly. So you have to articulate even though ultimately you're delivering better security, you have to articulate the benefits of it in the context of something that particular team cares about. So for example, the application team. So one of the first projects that we did at Citibank with zero trust segmentation, with micro-segmentation, was about protecting critical applications. And of course, the application team had to be engaged. So when engaging with the application team, the conversation was, yes, of course, we're going to secure your application. But the benefits to you are that the application is going to be more reliable, right? We're going to improve the availability of your application. We're going to reduce the downtime of your application. And we're going to help you better understand how your application interacts with other things. We're going to improve your ability to monitor the application. So everything was in the context of the benefits to them and their application. Now, the same conversation, exactly the same project, so protecting these critical applications, the conversation with the network team was, if we take this approach, the host-based zero trust segmentation approach, you're going to avoid complicated network changes. You're going to not need to re-architect the network in order to better secure this application, which means that you keep the network simpler, network more reliable, less network changes, less risk of outages. So that's your benefit. To the security team, the benefit to you is that now you have the ability to monitor connections, not just at the perimeter, but right down to everything that is communicating within the environment. So now you've got much more data to help you with your monitoring and response efforts to detect security problems. But also you have really fine-grained control. So not just about having control at the perimeter or control between network zones. Now you can really control things down to the individual workload level. So you're able to deliver much more targeted and more granular security. So it's the same project, right? But I'm having 3 different conversations with the application team, with the network team, with the security team that connects to the benefits that they want to see, right? And that way, I bring them all together because they realize that there is something beneficial to each of them, and that's how they buy in.
How long did you convince them to each different teams to get together?
It's not one conversation, of course, right? It's multiple conversations over time. But it's not just about the conversations. It's also being able to demonstrate that. Right, so being able to go to them with evidence, being able to show them exactly how I'm going to deliver these benefits to them, right? And every time we deliver, even if it's just a tiny benefit, going back and saying, reporting on that and saying, hey, look, right, we've done this, and it means that you now have this capability, or now you've avoided doing this additional change, right? You're able to monitor this better. So being able to essentially, and I think this is a really important thing, is show, it doesn't matter how small the progress is show the progress, because then people understand and they connect with it and they say they appreciate it and their support increases.
I don't know what to say. I think it's a huge job. You want to connect different teams to get together and to show them and step by step and from the small and demonstration and keep going to convince them and finally you get stronger.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Because otherwise, if you think about this the other way, because what you're really driving is significant security change for the organization, right? And it does impact everyone. So if you don't have that support and you don't have the understanding and that engagement, you're not going to be able to make the progress you want to. And you're not going to be able to make that progress in a reasonable time frame. So this is the only way to set yourself up for success.
Brilliant. Great. What should be their top priority at the very beginning?
Sure. So I think first of all, right, the starting point should be that acknowledging that you're unable to prevent every single cyber attack. So let use that as your starting point. And that is not a statement of weakness. That is a statement of understanding, right? Because the cyber attacker, and the proof is there. You just need to Google it, and there's cyber attacks happening all the time.
Yes.
Attackers find their way onto the target environment, onto the network, onto the organization that they're trying to attack, right? So assume breach. Now, if you assume breach, then think about how would you then build your security capabilities to better enable you to limit the impact of that, to contain the breach, right? So in order to do that, you should absolutely prioritize having complete visibility across your entire environment, data center, endpoint, cloud, containers.
Yes.
And then tying it back to the first question is prioritize the things that are most important to you, that you want to protect. Because ultimately, again, if we assume breach, we know that the attacker will get onto the environment. We want to ensure that even if the attacker does that, their ability to go and attack our most important applications, or their ability to steal our most important data is made very hard, right? We want to essentially try and limit that happening. So if we focus, assume breach, try and focus on being able to limit the impact of that cyber attack, we're going to make a lot of progress.
I'm just curious about you say about the application teams, yes, and you say Illumio can help them to increase their applications performance and efficiency. Is that how to do that? Because I know that when every cybersecurity solutions, when they want to deploy, they will increase their loading, and to roll down their performance.
Yeah.
So how did Illumio can reverse that?
So
I'm just curious.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great question, right? Because through zero trust segmentation, through what we're doing, is that ultimately, as you mature that deployment, the only access that we are allowing into your application is authorized access, right? So we're instantly protecting you. We're protecting your application, which means that because you are only allowing what you should be allowing, you're able to much better monitor and detect any unauthorized access attempts because they're automatically blocked. Now, further, as part of your application monitoring, you monitor things like your processes running, right? What components of your application are running, etc. You now have another perspective on this. Again, through the visibility we provide into how different workloads in your application are interacting with each other, right? Because we provide all of that, you can use that to further troubleshoot and optimize your application, right? So these are all just some very basic examples of how some of our customers leverage what we provide to actually better monitor their application. So it's not even a security benefit, right? So a security tool is actually providing them benefits to their application monitoring, right? That they hadn't even considered. We are a security vendor. We're a security product, right? But again, this is all about the engagement. Once they see the capability, they start thinking about other benefits the data that we provide can give them to support their application.
Thank you, Raghu.
My pleasure.
Our speech interview.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.